Hercules, the Legendary Chronicles, the 12 Labors. In the beginning there was Olympus, a realm of gods and goddesses, perched high above the mortal world. Among its denizens stood Zeus, king of the gods, whose insatiable passions often spilled into the realm of men. From one such union, a child was born, a demigod named Hercules, his strength unparalleled and his fate intertwined with the gods themselves. But greatness does not come without trials. In the shadow of Hercules' divine lineage lurked Hera, the queen of Olympus, who despised him for being the son of Zeus. Driven by spite, she cursed Hercules, bringing madness upon him and forcing him to commit an unthinkable act. To atone for this, the Oracle of Delphi decreed that Hercules must serve King Eurystheus and complete 12 impossible tasks. And so it began, the journey of Hercules, the greatest hero of Greek mythology, through trials that would push even a god to his limits. The first labor directed Hercules to the Nemean Lion, a beast of nightmares with a hide so tough that no blade or arrow could pierce it. Deep in the forests of Nemea, Hercules tracked the lion to its den, surrounded by mist and the eerie sound of rustling leaves. Armed with his club and an unmatched determination, Hercules stepped into the lair, where the lion's golden eyes burned like the sun. It growled, shaking the earth, and pounced. But Hercules, resourceful as ever, used his godly strength to wrestle the lion into submission. His bare hands squeezed the life from the beast, a symbol of his courage and ingenuity. Emerging victorious, he skinned the lion with its own claws and wore its pelt as armor, an impenetrable cloak marking the beginning of his mythic journey. For his second labor, Eurystheus sent Hercules to the swamp of Lerna to slay the Hydra, a serpent-like creature with venomous breath and countless regenerating heads. Each head Hercules struck down was replaced by 2 more, making the monster nearly invincible. The setting was otherworldly, a misty marsh filled with the stench of decay. As Hercules waded into its depths, the Hydra emerged, hissing and striking like a storm of blades. Its coiled body shimmered ominously under the moonlight. Realizing brute force alone wouldn't suffice, Hercules called upon his nephew Iolaus. Together they devised a strategy. As Hercules severed each head with his sword, Iolaus cauterized the necks with a blazing torch. The battle raged, but the fiery determination of Hercules prevailed. Finally, he buried the immortal central head under a massive boulder, sealing the fate of the Hydra forever. The third labor seemed simple: capture the sacred Ceryneian hind alive. But this was no ordinary hind. This golden-horned creature was swift as the wind and sacred to the goddess Artemis herself. For months, Hercules stalked the hind across mountainous terrain and through dense forests. The visuals burst to life, golden sunlight glinting off the hind's radiant antlers and the endless expanse of untamed wilderness. Hercules finally caught the creature by luring it into exhaustion. His feat was one not of strength, but of patience and skill. The goddess Artemis confronted him, but Hercules, with eloquent humility, promised to return the sacred beast unharmed. Moved by his words, Artemis allowed him to proceed, and the hind became another feather in Hercules' cap. The fourth labor took Hercules to the snowy peaks of Mount Erymanthos, home of the rampaging Erymanthian boar. This monstrous beast terrorized the land, leaving destruction in its wake. Hercules was tasked with capturing it alive. As the snow crunched under his feet, Hercules laid a trap, driving the boar into a snowdrift. It thrashed wildly, its tusks gleaming under the winter sun. But Hercules' unyielding strength subdued the beast. The scene played out like a grand hunt, with Hercules emerging as the ultimate master of beasts. The fifth labor was not one of battle, but of ingenuity. King Augeas possessed stables that hadn't been cleaned in years, filled with filth and reeking of decay. Hercules' task? Clean them in a single day. Surveying the monumental task, Hercules formulated a plan. He diverted 2 mighty rivers, bending nature itself to his will. The rushing waters cleansed the stables in a dramatic and visually stunning sequence, showcasing not just Hercules' strength, but his intellect. The sixth labor brought Hercules to a swampy, shadow-cloaked forest infested with the Stymphalian birds. man-eating creatures with sharp metallic beaks and deadly feathers. Their shrill cries pierced the silence, haunting the air. Armed with bronze castanets given to him by Athena, Hercules created a cacophony that flushed the birds into the sky. He then used his unerring archery skills to take them down one by one, their metallic forms falling like stars from the heavens. Once again, intellect and precision proved to be Hercules' greatest allies. For his seventh labor, Hercules traveled to Crete to capture the mighty Cretan bull, whose strength was said to rival that of a god. The bull, a gift from Poseidon, had turned wild and destructive, wreaking havoc on the island. The confrontation was a spectacle of raw power. Hercules wrestled the giant creature, its horns goring the air in a rage. Yet with his unyielding resolve, Hercules subdued the beast, dragging it from the chaos to fulfill the labor. The eighth labor led Hercules to Thrace, where King Diomedes kept a herd of man-eating mares. These monstrous horses, fed on human flesh, represented unbridled savagery. In a daring nighttime raid, Hercules confronted Diomedes and his mares with firelight illuminating the grim spectacle. Using his brute strength and tactical prowess, Hercules captured the mares and overpowered their master. By feeding Diomedes to his own horses, Hercules broke the curse of their savagery, restoring order. The ninth labor was as much about diplomacy as it was about combat. Hercules was tasked with acquiring the belt of Hippolyta, the Amazonian queen. Her realm was one of warriors, independent, strong, and unmatched in skill. Hercules initially negotiated with Hippolyta peacefully, and she agreed to gift him her belt. However, Hera, ever the antagonist, sowed discord, leading the Amazons to believe Hercules was a threat. A battle erupted, with sweeping visuals of shields clashing and swords gleaming. Hercules, though saddened by the betrayal, triumphed and claimed the belt. For the 10th labor, Hercules journeyed to the island of Erythea to retrieve the cattle of Geryon, a monstrous giant with 3 torsos and 3 heads. The sequence unfolded with epic grandeur, Hercules crossing oceans, the glint of Poseidon's realm beneath him, before arriving on the island. Battling Geryon was a display of Herculean might, with Hercules ultimately slaying the giant and driving the cattle across treacherous lands back to Eurystheus. The 11th labor sent Hercules to the edge of the earth to retrieve the golden apples of the Hesperides, guarded by an immortal dragon. After a dangerous journey across uncharted lands, Hercules encountered the Titan Atlas, who held the heavens on his shoulders. Hercules struck a clever bargain. He would bear the heavens temporarily if Atlas would fetch the apples. Visually stunning and laden with tension, the scene culminated with Hercules outsmarting Atlas by tricking him into resuming his burden. Hercules emerged victorious, the golden apples in hand. For the final labor, Hercules faced his ultimate challenge, descending into the underworld itself to capture Cerberus, the monstrous 3-headed hound who guarded the gates of Hades. A haunting descent into the realm of the dead set the tone. Shadows loomed, spirits wailed, and Cerberus stood as the final barrier. Armed with nothing but his immense strength, Hercules wrestled the beast. The battle was feral, a test of will and determination, but ultimately Hercules subdued Cerberus, proving himself unstoppable. With the 12 labors complete, Hercules returned, a hero not just of Greece, but of legend. His trials taught that even the greatest strength must be paired with wisdom, courage, and perseverance. Redemption, not triumph, was his ultimate goal, and through each labor, Hercules touched the eternal balance between man and God. As the hero gazed at the skies, now counted among the stars, his story transcended time, a beacon of hope and heroism that resonates with us still. Hercules, the legend, the demigod, and the man, lives on in the hearts of all who dare to dream and to overcome the impossible.